The green energy transition can be a powerful engine of economic development and a massive national security multiplier. By speeding up the energy transition, governments can boost energy security by reducing reliance on fossil fuels. They can boost economic security by building the new green energy industries of the future. They can boost environmental security by reducing particulate pollution and addressing climate change. They can boost social security by creating the new green jobs of the future, and they can boost geostrategic security by creating new positive green development partnerships. What is it going to take to turn energy investment into sustained growth, resilience, and economic development? Mr. President, Paraguay is one of the very few countries who achieved close to 100% renewable electricity, a remarkable achievement, primarily through hydropower. So, and you're now looking to leverage that advantage to attract industry and digital infrastructure and foreign investment. So beyond natural endowments, what policy and institutional choices have enabled you to convert your renewable energy power into your competitive advantage?
Paraguay is leading the way in Latin America on energy transition. The number is 100%. We move 100% of our economy on clean renewable energy. The most sustainable, which is hydro, and we export half of all the electricity that we produce and we don't consume. So this also makes Paraguay a leader in energy integration with the countries in Latin America, particularly with Argentina and Brazil, which are the two largest economies. This is fueling the development of new industries. Paraguay growth last year was above 6%, by far the fastest growing economy in Latin America. Energy consumption, of course, is growing. And we are now thinking what is going to happen in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years in developing a better mix of sustainable energy. Because as we saw in many of the countries in Latin America, when we talk about sustainable source of energy, not all sources of energy are sustainable or reliable. And we know that hydro is the most reliable. So we know that now the investment that we are planning, and we propose new legislation to promote and taking into account the experience in other countries on solar, this is going to be a great mix for the growth and all the demand that is going to happen. We are now on the supply side. We are attracting companies. We are partnering with countries and companies to make Paraguay a hub, a digital hub, and we will use our energy as the magnet to bring this energy, but we are not satisfied. We think that the technology that is being developed, it will require so much energy that is simply not available. Not available today, it's not going to be available in 5 years, in 10 years.
Paraguay is often described as having the potential to become a Silicon Valley of South America, which is an incredible vision. So how decisive do you think is a country's power mix and also that kind of political signalling in attracting global capital and industry and digital investment?
I think, Elizabeth, it's a combination, and more, of course, it's important for countries that already have available energy and reliable sources and high quality and competitive prices. But on top of that, and more, geopolitics is playing a greater role. And we're seeing that agreements are made government to government, even to get access to semiconductors, to microchips. So I think that how a political alliance will be made in the coming years will be critical in how to develop big projects. It's not only if you can have abundance of natural resources, but that's not enough. You don't have the capital and the technology to develop. In our case, Paraguay has partnered with multiple countries, and we are building good relations. One of them, which is very sensible, is Taiwan. Paraguay is one of the 12 countries in the world that recognize Taiwan, and this is a very strong alliance that we have with the Republic of China, Taiwan. Is very controversial, we know, but we think it's very similar to the path that Paraguay is going through, from being a producer of commodity to a manufacturer. And we want to lead on this technology transition. I want to attract companies and think of Paraguay as a reliable country to do multi-billion investment that you need to have that reliability and that trust on the policies that the country is implementing.
India has, of course, demonstrated that the energy transition can function as a really powerful engine of growth and of economic development, in particular through large-scale renewable auctions, clean tech manufacturing, farm energy schemes and the national hydrogen mission. How can the energy transition be deliberately designed to drive industrialisation and job creation and competitiveness, especially in emerging markets?
What has been done, 267 gigawatt we have already reached as far as renewables are concerned. Means more than 52% of the energy mix is from the renewable now. That we have committed to the world, we will do it by 2030, but now we have done it. But in the same time, how we have made it a people's movement. See, for example, in distribution renewable energy, the rooftop solar, we call it as PM Surya Ghar program. In last 2 years, just last 2 years, we have installed 2.7 million households rooftop. So we are targeting 10 million. When 10 million is completed, it will be completed by maybe around 27, almost 27. That at that time we will generate 30 gigawatt of the electricity only by this scheme. Second, we have installed 2.1 million of the farmers in the farmland. We have solarized their pumps. There also it is 2.1. Some of the countries do not have population of this. I don't want to say about which countries, but we have done in such a large scale. So by that, lot of things are being, it is first of all for the farmers. It is at a very, very affordable cost. For the households, it is very, very affordable cost. And we are supporting also. These schemes are people-centric, socio-economic change it is bringing. Not only socio-economic change, they are also selling the power, excess whatever they need, excess power they generate, they are selling it with these renewables. Question is whether it is affordable. According to me, it has in India, experiment is very, very successful. So I can say, as our country takes the rapid strides on scaling up the renewables, we don't see energy security, affordability, sustainability as competing priorities, but a part of integrated strategy. The reliability, along with battery storage, we are doing the pump storage. And nuclear, we have recently brought in a very, very good law, replacing all old laws. And our target is to complete 100 gigawatt by 2047 and 15 gigawatt by 2030. That will also add to the base load. This is all we are very, very seriously, we are planning. It is a well-thought plan for the entirely change of the transition.
Just to give you context, current installed capacity on the continent is about 240 gigawatts for 1.4 billion people. I mean, that's equivalent to Germany alone with 84.5 million people. So within that big challenge is also a huge opportunity around generation across the board, whether we're talking wind, solar. I think gas to power is another key area. We do have a lot of hydro opportunity, but with the climate change, we've seen that a number of our hydroelectric generation capacity is undermined by droughts. So the continent is now looking at other alternatives like nuclear, as Paraguay is doing, to say how do we begin to focus on nuclear, particularly those modular reactors that we can help generate electricity in rural areas, etc. So there's a big opportunity. Generation is certainly an area for growth, but even a greater area for growth for the continent is transmission. We're talking about 55 countries that need to be integrated. Transmission lines are a huge opportunity. I think the majority of investments over the last 15 years or so have been in the generation space, but there's a huge gap around transmission. So anybody who's looking to partner with the continent and invest has to look considerably at generation. And of course, the other growth area for us is the mini grids. As an opportunity, decentralized provision of energy is going to be the future for the continent, based on the vast distances, based on the urgent need. So nuclear for us and looking into mini grids is one big new area for growth. But for us, what is important is that the energy revolution and the inculcation and strengthening of renewables on the continent has to be driven by African capital and has to be driven by African agency. I think one thing that we have noted, and you made the point, and I appreciate that it's not for lack of capital. I think for us, it's really where African resources and capital are being deployed in lower risk instruments instead of the real economy and funding real infrastructure needs of the continent. So our critical agenda now is African domestic resource mobilization to fund our energy requirements because like everybody else, they're increasing.
Yes.
I mean, when we talk about the digital revolution, the need for data centers, etc., there's a huge need for energy. So we need to make sure that we play a strategic role in funding our own, as far as possible, funding our own energy revolution. And two, when we actually have partnerships external to the continent, let those partnerships be partnerships that contribute to industrializing the continent. So we're not just perpetual consumers of technology, etc., and exporting our minerals, but to say how do we work together to beneficiate, to manufacture on the continent for purposes of the renewable energy revolution.
Public budgets are obviously tightening and development finance institutions like yours are being asked to do a lot more with less and to play a really catalytic role in mobilising private capital for long-dated and quite high risk in many cases, clean energy projects. So where do you think that development finance institutions like yours can have the biggest impact today?
Energy is the least challenging of all the sectors. Well, when you want to have project in education or health, you need tax money or you need grant. And in transportation infrastructure, the basic roads and bridges you have to pay. But for toll road or high-speed railway, you can earn, but then there is a ridership risk in those projects. But for energy, people know that you have to pay for energy. It's not free. So it depends on how you pay. So our task is to talk with the host governments and find a good solution. As you said at the beginning, renewable energy is much cheaper. So say 3 years ago, we thought that we can turn to renewable energy tomorrow. But the reality is very different, as you talked about economic security as well. Well, solar panels, wind turbines, they may be cheaper, but if you depend on the supply chain of one country on these devices or batteries, it's not a good problem. It's not a good way to react. It's a security issue or a trade deficit issue. So we have to have a pragmatic and holistic view how you mix the energy and how you address the issue. So that's what we do with regard to each country, especially with the Asian countries where we have most projects, and find out the best solution for them. Well, when you have hydro or sun, that's fine. But you may have geothermal in some African countries, and I very much prefer waste-to-energy project because it has some social dimensions as well. And you will really have to invest in a power grid. And I feel that there are a lot of places where you can spend much more on energy saving as well. Each country has its own priorities, and it's also what is given in those countries, like water or sun, are very different. So what I do is try to understand what those countries do and bring in sponsors and utility players or financial institutions that are interested in those projects? Well, our mission as JBIC is to support Japanese companies' project overseas. But as we do, my job is to talk with those leaders, heads of states and ministers, in order to find out those projects that we do are really important for those host countries. That is the best way to avoid risks as we go along, because energy is always a very long-term project. That's what we do.
As a global energy company, you operate obviously across a range of emerging markets, and you really sit very much at the interface of public ambition and private investment reality. So from an investor's perspective, what most effectively reduces perceived risk in emerging and developing market economies?
The business case for us is very, very clear when it comes to clean energy. And it's even stronger when governments and sectors look at it at a holistic solution. It's not a one-stop solution that's going to fix all your problems. And also, I think we should be looking at it as a long-term investment. And we all know, I mean, and you mentioned it earlier in your opening remarks, a well-designed clean energy program has lots of benefits, from improvements in energy security, but also it has to stand alone, and it has to be financially viable. It has to be cost efficient. It has to be reliable. It has to generate, if not 24-hour, it has to contribute in the energy mix, not with hydro, with efficient gas-fired. So it needs to fit in the bigger picture. And when it comes to investing in development and developing markets, in my opinion, there is no lack of capital. I think the question is more about the perceived risk and what governments and regulators can do to support reducing that perception. I think when it comes to bankability, we mentioned offtake, we mentioned de-risking, some guarantees. I think what utility companies look at beyond the sovereign guarantee of a nation, and I think it goes back to some of the comments made by the panel, is not only the bankability of the project, but also the fundamentals of the project, and how is the government recouping, and how much is the subsidy, how much is the tariff, how many, so the fundamentals of this project on the economy. So this gives also utility companies more comfort, because you can have the strongest contract in the world.
Yes.
But if this project is not really creating value, and there is a road or a transition to being sustainable and reducing subsidy, I think that's also one thing that I will look at. And again, I go back also to the holistic, integrated approach is also very important, where private or utility companies can support governments. Like one example, TAQA, which I'm the CEO of, we're a fully integrated utility company based in Abu Dhabi. We have over 70 gigawatts of capacity. And when I say fully integrated, and I mean everything from the generation of power and water, to the transmission, to the distribution, and to the collection of power and water bills, and then also from the collection of the wastewater, and then treating the wastewater, and then distributing the reused water to the end users, to make sure that every kilowatt and every drop of water is utilized in the best way.